Hi guys, it's Debbie and I'm going to show you how I do a board painting on canvas. Today I've done several of these videos, so I'm sure you've seen how I do it, but you never know how it's going to turn out because they all turn out so different, so awesomely different with such beautiful designs. For the most part, I would say the majority of your paintings are going to turn out awesome. There's going to be a few crappy ones along the way. I have a couple crappy ones here and there. But I do have to say, once you figure out what's going to work for you, and because everybody's using them, unless you go out and do an exact recipe that somebody out there tells you exactly has it measured out, and then you turn that into your own, the way you mix, you'll learn your consistencies and exactly what works exactly for you. Me, I feel what the most important part in all of this is the consistency of the paint. Getting your paints mixed with your pouring medium to a consistency. I can feel the consistency when I get it all mixed up, when it's too thick, and there's a fine line between too thick and too thin. In fact, what was I going to show you? Oh, here's this particular painting. I want to show you something on this. It's a beautiful, it ended up to be a beautiful painting. I love it. But I wanted to show you, see, it has a lot of little tiny cells. You see that? Lots of little tiny cells in that. And the reason why the cells are smaller is because of the thinness of the paints. So I'm trying to see what you're seeing. I'll make sure I'm still got the... Anyways, so I had thinner paints on this one. And that's why this one turned out like it did. I believe in the blue, though, they were a bit thicker. But the rest of them weren't. And that's why that turned out like that. And plus, you really got to mix it really good. Mix until you got it to a perfect consistency. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I like to mix a large batch at one time. In fact, I'm thinking about storing them into a container with a lid. And then you can just shake it up, pour it into your cups, get all your colors together. You really don't need even a lot of colors because when they mix up, they're going to create so many other colors every time they do. I mean, and like I've mentioned in a few videos, I don't use brown because somewhere along the line it's going to make its own brown. And maybe it won't, but I don't care because if I add brown and it makes more brown, I may end up with more brown than I originally wanted. Anyways, I wanted to show you on this painting here. And you see, now this one here, this one let's see, I was just going to show you how the cells kind of popped up. They kind of popped up, and you know I mixed a bunch of red in that cup. Well, maybe not a whole lot, but some. And you don't see the red anywhere else, but it popped up from below. I always find that so cool when these guys do that. So, and let's see. Because I am using thicker paintings, when I finish the painting and I put it off to the side, it's pretty much done. As long as I've drained off as much paint as possible. If there's a big pool of paint on there, then you can bet it's probably going to change quite a bit while it's drying. But as long as you've tipped it and dumped the majority of it off, and what you have pretty much when you get done with these thicker paints, that's what you're going to have a little bit later. Now, again, with the thicker paints, you will have a few less cells sometimes. And but when you do get them, sometimes they'll be nice big and they'll be nice and bright. So you can say a white color, there it is, a red that's popped up, you know. And another thing I wanted to show you real quick while I was showing you some stuff. I don't know if you can see. I'm thinking you can. I'll get you up close here. I've used some of these metallic-y paints. And I love Cretatex, but that particular one is a metallic one. And I've noticed that a lot of times, and this one has the metallics mixed into it, you can't really see it too well, and it kind of looks blendy. What I mean by, it's not, I've noticed that the metallics, I'm almost wondering, because you have so many colors on here, unless you got it just maybe in one spot, how well that works. So I'm going to slow down on using any of the metallic paints on mine. Because do you see this one center area where that's where the majority of it was at. Some there and probably up here. But I don't know. I'm not too sure what I think about that. Maybe you can let me know in the comments below. So I think I have all my paints mixed up. I think we're ready to rock and roll. I'm going to bring you down. Okay, guys. Here I have my cup. It's got some paint left over from the last pour. And I needed to grab a canvas. And it's unsealed. Here we go. You know, I really like what's going on in here. I like the yellows and the reds and the way that, I'm assuming that's a little bit of a purple that's left over in there. So, well, we know reds and blues are going to make, sometimes can make purple. So, you know what I think I'm going to do this time? I'm going to bring over, this is a different purple. But I'm going to try to duplicate that some more because I really like that. Some red, purple, yellow. I don't work with orange too much, although I got quite a bit I'm going to have to use up pretty soon because I like to use red and yellow a lot and it makes its own orange. And like I was telling you, I think in a previous video, or maybe this one, you really don't need a lot of colors because it's going to make its own colors. So I think I'm going to just use maybe those and a little touch of black and the white. And let's just do those right now and see what we get with that. Yeah. All right. You see me over here? Okay. I'm going to start with a little yellow. And I don't know by now because I always fill my cup all the way up here. I could have used up the little tiny bit of silicone that is in all the paints. I could have used that up already. And you know what? Just to be safe, let's put a touch of 3-in-1 in there. The heck. So I've used up most of that. And it usually sits near the top. This is 3-in-1, but you can't tell anymore. Did I put any in that one? I don't do anything by exact. In fact, if it turns out exactly, if it turns out too perfect, that might be not. I'm not sure what I would think about that sometimes. So I like to create in the second. Change my mind midstream here. Okay, so I think I'll start with some yellow this time. And I can see some of the, I put a little bit of this glitter that I mixed with, I think that was with golden. It's a little bit thick. Something to be a little thinner. I can see a little bit of that down in there left over from the last time. I'll use it up this time though. Put it in the middle here so I don't forget it. It's a pretty common thing of mine to forget what I'm. Okay. I love yellow and red in these paintings. Oh, and they want a clump of something. I haven't noticed though too much once it comes out in the painting, too many of the clumps. I want to use a little bit of this black. This is the Creative-Tex black. And I love kind of the way sometimes it'll gather around little cells throughout there. I don't know, I feel it's amazing what it does sometimes. So, you never know what you're going to get. That's the thing. You never know with this what you're going to get. I think that's what brings me back. Again and again and again. In fact, I've been wanting to paint some really big paintings and I haven't seemed to take a lot of time, and I have several of them started and not finished, and because I get to work on this and I get excited about, oh, I'll just do a couple more of these and then I'll work on my big ones. And you know, being an artist, you're always thinking about what you're going to do on your, you know, what you got in your mind. And then I get in here and I'll think, oh, but I'm just going to do one or two of these. Try to get all that sparkly out. Looks like I grabbed kind of a fork that had some yellow on it. Okay. Since it's sitting on top, I have to wonder if that makes a difference, sticking that in there and doing that. Alright. The quicker I get them out of the way, the less chance I have of spilling them. I spilled quite a few of them. I'm semi-intrigued over these colors up here for some reason. Probably because I get a lot of this. Even though I love that on here. I know right now is when you're designing your painting. So you can easily mess it up. You wish you could go back to the stage here where, you know, the possibilities right now are across the board. So I have a big corner over there too. I'm gonna now this one here, because it's all with the whites and the grays, I don't know what to do with that. I don't think I'm gonna. Okay. Whoops! About dropped that. They do become rather slippery sometimes. They can be slippery little suckers. So right now I'm looking at the design on here and thinking about, okay, you know what's really cool though? Do you see in there? Look at that little patch of little cells inside of there. Isn't that cool? It's got some pretty cool things happening right now. Don't know what to do. I like what's going on over here too. I really don't want to lose this, this, and this. And this. This, we can move it a little bit that way. See what happens. But I don't want to lose any of these things, so I need to be very careful. I don't see too many of the sparkly stuff. It must have went underneath on this one. Oh, there's a vein right here. Just a little vein of it. See, and that's something else I love about this. When I put it in, I don't really see it anywhere else, but there's one little vein of it. So now I'm like wondering if I want to keep moving this around, leave it alone. It's really undecided here. I'm trying to think what it would look like. If we get enough people together, we can do this live too. I'm just trying to decide if it's done or if I want to do anything else to it. I'm reasonably happy with it. I mean, there's things I don't like. I can't change. But there's many things that I do love about this. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it alone, guys. Trying to make sure you can see it a little bit. I wonder if I dripped on there when I was talking about that little vein. I don't know where that. I have to watch the video and see where that little piece came from right there. It kind of looks like it didn't belong. There's not much I can do about it right now, though. Alright, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. And hopefully you learned something interesting. Thank you.